Hello everyone, and finally, welcome back to another car stuff video. I know it has been a while, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of explain why it's been so long since the car's been on the channel, and then also explain what we're going to be doing today. If you want to skip the explanation of why the car has been off the channel for so long, here's the timestamp that you'll need. But if you are interested, here we go. So, I let's see, before we moved, so like 8 months ago, I started hearing some sound coming from the engine bay, a little squeaking, and I talked to some friends and they said that it was likely the throwout bearing. I just kind of let it keep squeaking, and then sure enough, eventually the throwout bearing went bad. And so getting into like first and reverse, and I mean kind of every gear, but first and reverse were definitely the worst. Getting into those gears was like practically impossible. I mean, I had to like full force shove the shifter into gear. And so yeah, that was not super fun. But that was right at the time that we were moving. So then we moved up here. I just drove it the whole way up here, despite those issues. And then I started my new job, and so I just kind of, I mean, the car, it's in a garage now, so I just didn't even worry about it, didn't prioritize it. And I also was still waiting on someone to have an area where I could replace, I mean, essentially the entire clutch, because I mean, if I'm gonna get in there and replace the throw bearing anyway, might as well just replace it all. And so Landon was finally available at the same time that I was, and we replaced everything. It was very screwed up. I'll insert some pictures of if you don't follow me on Instagram. I mean, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll have already seen these. But if not, here are some pictures of the clutch and all the messed up components that were that were there. So we replaced the clutch. Well, Landon did almost all the work, so I'm not going to take any credit. Landon replaced the clutch, and then I was driving home, and the axle broke, which we kind of saw coming, because when we took the axle out to replace the clutch, the axle was pretty messed up. So anyways, the axle broke on the way home. Big shout out to Landon, because I was just driving on the way home from that huge job, and all of a sudden the right side of the car started violently shaking, and I didn't know what it was. And at this point, it was like 1:30 in the morning, I think. And Landon drove all the way out to me with a jack, and we jacked up the car, saw it was the broken axle, and I drove it the rest of the way home with the broken axle. Then finally got around to replacing the axle, and went to drive it, and it still was having issues going into first and reverse. So that was not super fun. But then just last week, Nick came over, and Nick helped me bleed the clutch, slave, and master cylinder, and that solved the problem. So the car is finally back, and because it's back and I have been able to drive it, I now have motivation to work on it again. And so that is where we get to what we're doing today. So, yes, this is flooring. I'm not doing the entire thing today, obviously. Like I've mentioned before with these car stuff videos, I had a problem of just kind of doing the entire project all in one video, and that would just kind of not be ideal, because by the time that I was done recording everything, I would not have any motivation to edit, and also it will have been, it would have been a long time, and so, I don't know, I don't like doing that. So now I'm recording on like kind of a day-by-day basis. So what we're doing today is, I don't know why I'm walking around. What we're doing today is we're going to try and unbolt the sub box, because I mean, you can tell it's kind of janky of a setup just overall. We bolted it down with just that to make sure that it wouldn't slide around. So we're going to get that unbolted, and then get this carpeting out of here. And then we're going to lay down some flooring inside the house, and then lay this on top of it and trace out the shape on the flooring that we're going to need. I'm also going to see try and decide if I want the flooring to be side to side or forward to back. But yeah, we've got a good little bit of stuff ahead of us. So I'm also taking measurements to see, because what I'm going to do is lay plywood underneath the flooring, just to be sure that the flooring doesn't like bend on this part and like crack or anything. So yeah, let's get into it. So obviously I don't want to give too much away, but here's a rough showing of what we're going for. So car, trunk, flooring here, and then we're gonna have kind of flooring built into the sub box, sort of. So we're gonna have a wall here of a wall here of the flooring, and then the subs will cut a circle through the flooring wall, and then that'll show through. And then I'm not telling you anything else because don't want to ruin anything. But yeah, I really think this color fits the trunk well. Let's see if I can back up far enough. Yeah, I feel like that's gonna look really cool. And of course, it's not really working on your car unless something's way harder than it's supposed to be. And there we have it. Simply taking out a screw, but this one is completely stripped. Pretty sure I put that in, so I must have stripped it when I put it in. And now I'm using pliers, and I'm putting on some cut-proof gloves to try and get it out and not get metal shavings in my fingers. So, wish me luck. Okay, so it turned out that that screw that was stripped was only holding it into the fabric. So I was able to just pull it right out. And so now that there's nothing holding the sub box down, I should be able to just kind of shimmy the rest of this out from underneath the sub box, and that's all we need. We don't need the sub box out of here yet, so that's not a project for today, because there's a lot of stuff, a lot of wiring mess that I would have to deal with, and I don't want to do that. I just want this out. Okay, sorry for the lighting, but I've come to sort of another dilemma, but it actually kind of works in my favor. So there's some clips down here. I don't know if you'll be able to see them. Yeah, I can't really see them, but there's some clips down there that are holding this in, so you can see when I pull it up, they don't come out. But actually, that kind of works in my favor because we do kind of want this bit of it to stay behind the seats, you know, so that there's no rubbing of the back of the seats against the bare metal here. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take some scissors, and I'm just going to cut straight across, or a knife or something, and I'm just going to cut straight across there, and then that will still work out fine, because like the reason we're taking the trunk lining out is, one, obviously we don't need it anymore, but two, also so that we can trace it. And if we're tracing it with all this involved, then we're going to, you know, trace onto the flooring more than what we need. So yeah, I'm going to cut across here, and that should solve all of our problems. We have successfully cut all the way across, and obviously there are wires there, so if you're doing this as well, be careful of that. What I did is I wore these cut-proof gloves, and then I just kind of blocked. So I used a Milwaukee knife, and then what I did, I don't know if I can recreate it. What I did was I sawed back and forth across like that while holding the piece up like, oh man, this is really hard to record on my own, but basically I was holding this up like this, like let's say this part's still together. I was holding it like this with my fingers here and the knife kind of underneath. Again, I can't really show this well while recording by myself, but the knife was kind of underneath like that. So obviously, again, be very careful while cutting. Don't want to cut yourself or the wires, but I kind of protected the wires with my cut-proof gloves. And then I was able to get all the way across, and I never hit any of the wires or anything, so we are all good there. So, yeah, gonna get this out now, and then take it upstairs. Here is now what we're working with, so now you can understand why I need plyboard underneath that, or plywood underneath the flooring. I don't have a spare tire to hold anything up, so yeah, we're gonna do plywood and then the flooring on top of it. And we're going to be using this empty space, possibly. So, just another little hint at what we're doing. This is what we got. And let's go inside and start laying down some flooring and tracing the bed liner. So now I am obviously inside the house, and I will admit that actually I think so far the hardest part of this project, ignore how gross the underside of that is. I don't know why it's that bad. But so far the hardest part of this project is trying to get the floor laid down in a way that like looks natural while still fitting in the area that I have, because clearly I do not have a ton of space. So um, yeah, this is proving to be a little bit more challenging than I expected, but not for the reasons that I expected. So, yeah, I guess I'm just going to keep trying to lay down these pieces, and hopefully we can get something figured out here. But yeah, I think it'll be pretty cool once it's done. And I've decided to go with the pieces sideways as opposed to vertical. Maybe vertical would have been easier, but I just feel like the sideways looks cool. You know, as soon as I said that out loud and looked down at the floor, yeah, I realized maybe side to side, maybe that's not the way to go. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go vertical. All right, here we go. Now that I've switched to vertical laying down, it is going much better. What I'm doing is in some spots, like right here, obviously this would lay over that little empty space that's right here. But what I could do to make use of the bat, because I'm already only down to like 3 or 4, I think 2, maybe 2 even. Yeah, I'm only down to 2 left. Of the slats, and obviously I still have a wall to make. So what I'm thinking is to make use of what I got, I'm going to like cut off, you know, this part is obviously being cut off, so then that could be used to fill in this last little bit of space here. Same with these ones. These have the locks, because the way that the flooring works is they lock together. And so this is what they call the what did they call it? The groove. Makes sense. So this one has the groove on this end. And so that, if I cut that piece off, I can then bring that section and lay it here, because it has the grooves here and on this side, just like this one, and that would work out quite nicely. So that's what those empty spaces are for. Not going to worry about them because, again, pieces will get recycled and then end up there. And then I'm also thinking that that's how the wall will be made, is pretty much all with recycled bits. I'm thinking, hoping. If the wall ends up not happening, though, at least not happening with the flooring, I could do something else with it. So here is all of the flooring down, and obviously we're still missing this section here. So yeah, definitely don't think the flooring wall is going to happen, but with the excess stuff that's over here, I definitely will be able to fill in this space, and then the little space that was like right there, and then the little space that's right here. All in all, I think this is going to turn out pretty sweet. I don't know if I want to trace everything just yet, but yeah, I think it'll look pretty good. And you know what? I've decided I'm happy with the progress that I've made today, having not done anything fun car related in a while. You know, like, again, it's basically just been maintenance on the car for the last 8 months. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself today. I've made good progress. I'm happy with where I'm at, so I'm going to stop it here. Thank you all for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing, if you enjoyed, of course. If you didn't enjoy, then you don't have to. But either way, again, I am happy with where I'm at, happy with the progress that I made, so that's going to do it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!